LSU seeking its second Final Four in 3 years. UCLA seeking its first ever Final Four. They are the overall #1 seed in this tournament. Corey Close talked to us about wanting a chance at this matchup again. How much they were motivated with the way last season ended to get back to this point. And now how grateful they are to have this opportunity to go up against LSU. Samaya Smith and Lauren Betts will jump it up. Here we go. The Elite Eight is underway in Spokane.
UCLA in a man-to-man. Lauren Betts on Anissa Morrow. Morrow attacks the matchup right away, but that's one of the things Betts brings at 6'7", is a tremendous shot blocking presence. Just comes over, keeps her arm up, and beautifully done.
Betts averaging nearly 3 blocks per game, and see if she gets credited for another one there.
Well, you saw her as soon as she blocked the shot, put up the 2 fingers.
She's gonna make sure they're tallying it at the stat table, and Williams travels as LSU turns it over. Yeah, that's 2.
That's 2.
That's right, number 2. Taking a look at the starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One for UCLA. London Jones, Kiki Rice, Gabriela Jaquez, Angela Dugalich, and Lauren Betts, the All-American. Here's Betts, such a force in the post. Lauren Betts picking up where she left off the other night.
Lauren Betts has the size and strength advantage on Samaya Smith. You will see LSU bring help side defense from the blind side. That time it just didn't get there.
Betts coming off back-to-back 30-point games. Williams alone in the corner. Can't hit the 3. Smith, who's been a force on the offensive glass, creates another opportunity for LSU, but unable to hit the jumper. Here comes Kiki Rice. The talented junior gives it up. Jones, who can catch fire from 3, doesn't pull that time. Jones bounces in. Betts one-on-one with Smith. Betts misses the layup, was 15 of 16 the other night, and then picks up the foul after the miss. That's always critical to watch as Lauren Betts picks up the personal.
You see, surrounded by purple, and one of the things that's always important for UCLA is to get Lauren Betts involved. Ooh, that's a tough foul right there. But they have to have their shooters make perimeter shots to give her space on the inside.
London Jones getting up into Cheyenne Day-Wilson, who quickly comes in off the bench for last year POA. Here's Smith diving in, can't finish. Rice the rebound. Jaquez connects on a 3.
Right, last season in this matchup, UCLA was 0 of 8 from 3 in the first quarter, 2 of 17 in the first half. A huge difference when they can hit from the perimeter.
Smith gets it to drop. Samaya Smith had a career-high 20 in the second round and then topped that with a new career-high 21 in the Sweet 16 in a thrilling win over NC State. Kim Mulkey telling us she feels like confidence has just breeded more confidence, and that's created more success for Smith in the latter stages of this season. Here's Rice, wide open, short on a 3, and Day-Wilson the rebound.
But really good job playing inside to out, making the extra pass. That's a wide open look for Rice.
Here's Morrow, her jumper, a little too strong. Rice picking up some pace for UCLA. Dugalich dumps it in. What position? And Betts finishes plus the foul.
Post players do their work early. They try to bury the defender underneath the basket. Lauren Betts does that. She sprints the floor, gets down, buries Smith. Now remember, when the post player catches the ball, the 3-second violation call is suspended. She got it, went right up with it.
Lauren Betts the other night was 15 of 16 from the floor. Her only miss was an end of quarter heave. That was it. Had 31 points. Game before, had 30 on 14 of 17. Meanwhile, Holly, a big story at the end of that LSU-NC State game was the health of flau'jae Johnson. What is the latest on the LSU star?
Well, that's right. flau'jae Johnson got hit in the eye. You can see she's still a little bit swollen, but she is good to go and play. She's coming off a season low in that game. And Kim Mulkey said she actually apologized to the team after the game for her performance. She has promised she will be better today. She thought she let missed shots get in her head and worry more about herself than the team. She is playing through the team today.
All right, Holly, good stuff. Thank you very much. Williams can't hit the three. Morrow, such a singular force on the glass, but couldn't hang on. UCLA ball. By the way, after that last free throw miss from Betts, Jaquez actually picked up a personal. Foul trouble was a huge story of these teams' matchup in the Sweet 16 a season ago. Two teams that have really proficient rebounders, physical on the glass. Nice cut there from Jaquez. Couldn't finish it. Here's Johnson. flau'jae kicks to the corner. Day Wilson way off on a three, and it's out of bounds off of Morrow. Corey Close in her 14th season with UCLA, a program record 33 wins, and Kim Mulkey, a four-time national champion as a head coach, has also been a national champion as a player and an assistant. Guided LSU to their first ever national title 2 seasons ago. Jones? No.
Wonder if LSU can take advantage when Lauren Betts is not in the basketball game.
She's out right now. Williams gonna drive it. Tried to force a pass inside. It skips off the leg of Jaquez and will stay with LSU.
Especially without Lauren Betts in the game defensively and the shot blocking, rim protecting presence she is. Michaela Williams, when she wants to and drives at the basket using her frame, she can be so difficult to stop.
Williams off. Morrow, the offensive rebound, can't put it back in. Finally collected by UCLA. We saw that the other night, Rebecca, when Michaela Williams was cold in that game and then took over down the stretch of the fourth. Barker gets fouled by Johnson, and Barker's going to shoot two. Kim Mulkey, apoplectic, feeling like it should have initially been an offensive foul. First look, Rebecca, this, yeah, I think
it's a little bit of an embellishment.
Yeah,
I like that it was a no call.
Violet Palmer, our rules analyst with us, confirms that she also agrees a good no call.
And if she didn't agree with us, we just wouldn't say that on air.
Barker misses the free throw. Janiah Barker, a transfer from Texas A&M, misses both free throws. What a rebound from flau'jae. Flying in, now trying to push pace. Johnson can't finish it. And LSU struggling at the start of this game from the floor. They are 1 for 12. Kiki Rice had it poked away, gets it back in traffic. It's a hot potato. Nasawa into the game for UCLA. Barker leaves it short, follows it up, but it's Williams who claws it for LSU.
And the difference without Betts in the game, there's not a double team that's going to come and force rotation on a pass out.
Johnson, oh, what a move from flau'jae Johnson.
She had a similar move in the game a season ago.
She had a huge game against UCLA in the Sweet 16 last year in Albany. Barker dropped it, gets it back. Rice has looked a little sped up at times in this first. Now Rice will fire, again way short on her three, and it tilts out of bounds to LSU. Timeout on the floor, UCLA by 3 early. flau'jae trying to get going.
She was incredible in the postseason last year, showing this kind of brilliance.
Some of the images of last year's Sweet 16 matchup between LSU and UCLA. That was an LSU win.
One of the things for UCLA in that game a year ago, struggling getting the ball into Lauren Betts. She drew so many defenders, but there were times where she was open and her team could not get her the basketball. UCLA, 19 turnovers in that Sweet 16 matchup. But this is a different UCLA team this year. They have gotten much better delivering the ball to Betts. She still gets a ton of defensive attention, patience, finishing. We've seen her bury the defense deep in transition, also pass out of it when the double team comes. Much more deliberate in their ability to get her the ball without turning it over.
Well, Lauren Betts picked up an early personal foul, now back on the floor. One of the ways Corey Close talked about how Betts has grown is her ability to handle adversity. She dinged her thumb early in that game in the Sweet 16 against Ole Miss. Has it wrapped today. You could see her holding it there. There's the wrap today. And after that, she still managed to go 15 of 16 from the floor despite injuring the thumb. And Corey Close just talked about that is part of her growth, that she didn't let it get in her head or affect her in any way whatsoever. Arnesalo into the game. That pass from Dudley gets deflected and taken away. Here comes LSU off the turnover. Gilbert's pull-up won't go. LSU ice cold from the floor, 2 for 15 now.
And they're getting quick shots, Ryan. They are not making UCLA play defense for very long. That's how you tire out a team, is making them play on the defensive end.
Betts coming to set the screen for Rice. Here's Kiki Rice. Backdoor cut. Dudley, wow, just way off on the layup attempt. On a good look inside, and now Gilbert collects for LSU. UCLA 3 for 10 themselves from the floor. They were the 6th rated offense in the country this season. Here's Williams, and who's that foul going to be on? It'll be on
Dudley.
UCLA. Not on Betts, instead on Dudley, her first. As Dudley will check out and Jaquez back in for UCLA. We also have Tamia Gardner in off the bench for UCLA, the Oregon State transfer. Johnson can't get that one to drop, and Gardner the rebound.
Quick shots.
You're right.
Quick shots for LSU.
Meanwhile, UCLA has gone 4 minutes without scoring. Betts wants a touch. That's why. Oh my goodness! What a rejection from flau'jae Johnson. Smith pull-up jumper is good.
Samaya Smith is very capable of hitting that 15 to 17 footer. We saw her do it in the Sweet 16 round. That will be huge. It will give Anissa Morrow some more space in the paint.
Gardner trying to work back to the basketball. Betts battling underneath with Smith and getting the position.
Lauren Betts has a terrific internal clock in terms of understanding how long she can be in the paint before she has to get back out.
She's 3 for 5 from the floor, 6 points. And the other night, for much of the game, she was UCLA's sole source of offense. Morrow, look out! She has started to hit from 3 in this tournament. Makes her a very dangerous player. Betts draws 2. Jaquez kicks it out. Good movement here. Gardner, no. Johnson. Morrow again.
Lauren Betts looks tired to me, Ryan. That time she was trailing the play defensively. And that's one of the things, while LSU's taking quick shots, it doesn't make UCLA work a lot in the quarter court, but it keeps them sprinting up and down when they take those quick ones.
A 9-2 LSU run. Arnesalo, and that's going to be an offensive foul. How about flau'jae Johnson's defense so far in this first half?
flau'jae bringing so much energy. Already have seen her block the 6'7" Lauren Betts. This time moves her feet. Yep, the extension of the arm. That's an offensive foul. You got to beat him to the spot. flau'jae is there.
And LSU started 2 for 16, has made their last 3 shots. Williams snaking through, and a travel as she did, as LSU turns it over.
And we're going to see that in this game when there's on-ball screens. Lauren Betts switching on to Michaela Williams. Michaela Williams, I would attack her. Try to pick up a foul. It's okay if you get your shot blocked. Try to get the big girl in foul trouble. That's going to be your best defense, is to get her off the floor.
Aaliyah Del Rosario into this game for LSU. Now, she's played limited minutes this season for the Tigers, but Del Rosario played a really big role in this matchup last year as a big body to contend with Betts on the interior.
She's a 6'6" strong post player, and she's got 5 fouls, and I wouldn't be surprised before the end of the game if she uses them all.
What's the over-under on that? Maybe I shouldn't ask that question.
Yeah.
Here's Betts, and who's it going to be called on? It's going to be called on Betts. There you go, Del Rosario using that size to get into Betts, and Betts picks up a second foul in this first quarter. Ooh.
It was kind of a swim move. Betts was doing the swim move, getting her arm over, and as it came across, her elbow hit Del Rosario in the face.
Timeout on the floor.
Timeout on the floor as they are going to take a look at this. We will step aside, come back. Final minute of the first.
The floor is an offensive foul on white 51. The play is under review.
They're going to take a look to see if this rises to the level of anything more than just a personal foul on Betts. First look, that looks like just a common foul. Well, Lauren Betts picking up her second personal foul a moment ago. We're going to take one more look at it. And they were looking to see whether or not this was going to elevate to an intentional foul. Remember, in the college game, they do not use the terminology of flagrant foul or flagrant foul penalty 1. It's an intentional foul for what you would term a flagrant in the professional game. And let's bring in Violet Palmer, our rules analyst. Violet.
After review, the call has been confirmed as an offensive foul on white 51.
It's just a common foul there, as articulated by Brendan Pantoja. But Violet, that the right call for you? Just an offensive foul there on Betts?
Ryan, I absolutely agree. She just literally, there's no excessive contact with the elbow. She just swings over, trying to receive the ball.
But enough contact there from Betts that you do agree with it being a foul at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Call confirmed.
Thank you, Violet.
Foul.
And I agree, which is why we turned Violet Palmer's microphone on.
As we illustrated yesterday, we will absolutely still hear from Violet when she disagrees with the table as well.
That's true. It's really not in our control. That's producer Carrie Callahan's call.
Best in the business there. Meanwhile, Lauren Betts with 2 fouls in the first quarter for the first time in her career. Rebecca, just forecasting ahead here, how does UCLA navigate without Betts on the floor? She's such a central part of what they do.
It certainly changes how they play. They are a team that plays through her on the offensive end of the floor, and she's their rim protector on the defensive end of the floor. Brilliant. Kim Mulkey, go right inside to Anissa Morrow, establish her, let her attack. There's not a rim protector there. So the simplest offense, just a direct entry pass into Anissa Morrow with her strength. I mean, it's remarkable, this young woman at about 6 foot, 6'1". Her efficiency inside, not only scoring the ball, Ryan, but rebounding as well.
She has 6 career double-doubles in the NCAA tournament. That's tops among active players. What's amazing about that is this is just the second NCAA tournament she's ever played in. At DePaul, she had made it to the first 4, but that was it. This was just her second year with LSU.
And like double-double sort of underselling it. She had 30 points and 19 boards in their last game.
She has the last 7 points for LSU here in this first. LSU 4 for 4 after starting 2 for 16.
UCLA zoning up here for this last offensive possession for LSU.
Williams drops it in. Smith can't finish. Time for UCLA here. Here's Barker, high dribble, swooping through, couldn't finish. Morrow collects, heaves, and that'll do it for the first. LSU, a 4-point lead after 1 with a trip to the Final Four on the line. Holly Rowe chats with the always interesting Kim Mulkey when we come back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Start of the second quarter, LSU a 4-point lead. Time for today's coaches interview, brought to you by Symetra.
Well, Coach, your defense turned up. You have held UCLA to about 2 points in the last 7 minutes. What have you seen from your group defensively?
Toughness, just toughness. Betts is a handful in there. I've coached bigs. I know how hard it is to defend in there. And we got her in some foul trouble. And we're missing too many gimmies down there. We got to start making those shots. Hey, it's Elite 8, Holly. We're here to stay.
I like the Steel Magnolia. Was this a message about toughness for your team today?
I'm a Louisiana girl. This is our state flower.
Thank you.
Well, that is the state flower for Louisiana. So Kim wearing it on her jacket today. And she talks about toughness, Rebecca. And she was talking with us about how she feels teams are often a reflection of their coach, and she always tries to embody toughness. So often she feels her team does. And then she told us a great story about how she tried to develop that toughness.
She said, I always waited for a coach to say to me, you're one tough woman. And then she said, my junior year at Louisiana Tech, Leon Barmore said to me, you are one tough woman. He had no idea, and just how proud and happy that made her feel.
And she has carried that into her coaching career as well, 4 national championships. Here's Barker. Barker's jumper is good. UCLA needed that after the stagnation at the end of the first for the Bruins. Remember, UCLA with their star, the first-team All-American Lauren Betts, on the bench with 2 fouls. First time in her career. She picked up 2 in the first quarter. Williams off. Smith, a force on the offensive glass, can't flip it in, and it's knocked out of bounds off UCLA. Hey, the NCAA Women's Championship continues tomorrow night with 2 more Elite 8 matchups on ESPN and the app. TCU squares off against Texas in the first game at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and then following that game, back here in Spokane, it's Paige Beckers and UConn facing USC.
Michaela Williams has just such a sweet jumper in her mid-range. That one relatively uncontested.
Rice bounces into the corner. Dugalich dumps it down. Barker in a crowd gets hit, and we'll go to the line to shoot 2 as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Listening into Corey Close of UCLA in that last timeout, she greeted her group and said, look, this is what we talked about. How do we handle it when they go on runs? We've talked about this. She said, offensively, we have got to get the ball moving. You've seen on their last 2 possessions, multiple passes, more ball movement. They really want to get Gabriela Jaquez involved more. And then on defense, they want to take a step closer to Morrow and Samira. They think they're not defending them close enough, getting in their personal space, so keep an eye on that.
All right, Holly, good stuff. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Samaya Smith just picks up her 2nd foul.
That's big for LSU on the offensive end. And Jersey Wolfenbarger is in the game now, but Smith has been playing so well throughout this NCAA tournament, especially her face-up game, her ability to hit from the perimeter, rebound, defend.
She's been averaging 17 points per game in this tournament on 70% shooting. In the regular season, she averaged under 7 points per game. Wolfenbarger can't finish on the interior. Check that, make it Miracle Shepard who went in there. Shepard, Wolfenbarger, both in off the bench right now for LSU as Rice cradles and finishes. That's a tough bucket from Kiki Rice.
Kiki Rice using her size advantage there.
Here's Johnson. flau'jae will pull. Can't hit from 3, slapped alive, but just to Jones for UCLA. London Jones can't hit the 3, halfway down, and it's knocked out of bounds off of LSU.
Kiki Rice can really get downhill, and you see she has this size, showing some toughness there, just insisting her way to the basket.
Last season in the Sweet 16 against LSU had 13 points, 5 assists. A couple of tough drives down the stretch of that game, though. It was a game that UCLA actually had a 3-point lead with 2.5 minutes to go before LSU ended up winning by 9. Gardner connects on a 3. Gardner, who did not score in the Sweet 16, on the board here to put UCLA back in front. Morrow, no. Morrow follows it up with a board. Leaning and hitting Anissa Morrow, the queen of second chance points.
It's incredible. She's been sort of an undersized post player her entire life, and so she's able to, you know, find the fade, find ways to get clean looks even against bigger defenders.
Rice, nice drive, did the hard work, just couldn't finish it. And it's out of bounds to LSU.
She could be the best in the country at tracking the boards. Not only her eyes are always on the rim, whether it's her shot or someone else's, but then her pursuit of it. You see the nice little finish as well.
You think about, I mean, it's similar to what we see from Angel Reese on the glass at LSU. Just that motor that doesn't stop. And Morrow just tied Jillian Aileen for third place all time in Division I history in rebounding.
The difference between her and Reese is about 3 inches.
Yeah. And
that's what makes it so remarkable with Morrow. She is a much smaller post player.
Jaquez, you bet! Lauren Betts likes the execution she's seeing from her teammates. UCLA trying to get to its first ever Final Four. Gilbert rims out, Jaquez.
There were two UCLA players sandwiching Morrow so she couldn't get the board.
Michaela Williams picks up the foul here. That will be her first.
How do you box out when you're going against the best offensive rebounder in the country? Look at the right top of your screen. Wow. 2 players. Just Anissa Morrow sandwich so she can't go anywhere and pursue that basketball.
Gardner dumps it in. Dugalich kicks it out. Arnisalo bounces. They'll tend to shoot for UCLA. Rice calling a play. Gardner verbaling traffic. Gardner will fire and hit.
When UCLA has been elite this season, they have been able to complement Lauren Betts inside with exactly what we're seeing here in the second quarter, and that's efficient shooting from the perimeter.
An 11-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes from UCLA. A 6-point lead, getting hot from deep here. Johnson, guarded nicely by Rice. Williams trying to save it, but gives it away. Here comes Jaquez. Rice will peel back. Good decision there from Kiki Rice. Gardner, she can't hit that one. And the rebound scooped up by Caitlin Gilbert. Johnson gets a clean look. Off. Rice the board. LSU just 1 for 6 from 3. UCLA 4 of 8. A trip to the Final Four on the line. Rice couldn't get it to drop. Again, getting to the rim, unable to finish. Williams barges in, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Michaela Williams, her 5th turnover of the half. Timeout on the floor. UCLA a 6-point lead on LSU. Navigating with Lauren Betts on the bench and doing so effectively. Gardner directs the traffic and then knocks down the 3, stepping up off the bench for the Bruins. Oh, beautifully done, Al. Beautifully done. Thank you very much. Al had the Betts puns going the other night. It was terrific. Meanwhile, Michaela Williams here picks up her 2nd foul, Rebecca, and this should not have been on Michaela Williams.
Certainly not. It should have been a block call on Tamia Gardner, and that's a tough one because it's Michaela Williams' 2nd, sends her to the bench, and she's such an integral part of what LSU wants to do offensively.
And just a big moment in the game, down 6, needing a bucket. Could have been an and one, and Violet Palmer, our rules analyst, confirms in the truck for us too. She felt it should have been a block. That defender had not owned the real estate there. Here's Dugalich, kick into the corner. Arnisalo can't hit the 3. And the rebound on the weak side, taken in for LSU.
With this lineup for LSU, you got to get the ball to Morrow or flau'jae Johnson.
Morrow has 9 of the last 11 LSU points.
They're your 2 offensive threats in this 5-player lineup right now.
You look at the way Jaquez can sag off of last tier Poa. Johnson dumps it to the corner. Gilbert lines it up. No. And a foul going to go against Morrow here on the glass. Anissa Morrow picks up her first. Let's check out today's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Anissa Morrow, 9 points, 5 rebounds after her terrific performance against NC State the other night. Lauren Betts picking up 2 fouls in the first, and UCLA on a 12-2 run with Betts on the bench. Dugalich backing down. Dugalich. I think there might have been a couple travels in there.
Did you see when she first caught the ball? Anissa Morrow took her arm and put her hand right in her face so she couldn't see, and then did a really nice job staying upright. See right there, like, I've not seen that before in the post. You sometimes see that on the perimeter, just like face palming her, but removing the hand before she can get a foul call.
And maybe just enough to dysregulate.
Oh yeah, who has
post
a
there.
big giant paw in their face?
I don't. Gilbert gets fouled, and Caitlin Gilbert is going to go to the line to shoot too. Lauren Betts playing on the bench for a while now, and UCLA playing better than they ever have with Betts on the bench. Take a look at the numbers since January 1st. They're plus 320 on, a minus 3 off in this game. They have outscored LSU by 6 with Betts on the bench. That's just enormous for UCLA.
I mean, that's incredible, those numbers. Their guards have really stepped up in this moment here, making shots from the perimeter.
Gilbert rims off on the free throw. One of the things that was interesting talking with Corey Close before the game, and we said, you know, how much will you play on the emotion of last year's loss to LSU and a chance at revenge? And she said, you know, that's not how our group operates best. Yes, this has motivated us all season long. Yes, we're excited for this opportunity. When we saw the brackets, of course, we noticed it and wanted this game. She said, but if our team gets too much into emotion, that's when we falter. Where we thrive is an execution focus. And they've executed really well since Betts has gone to the bench, despite not having the hub of their offense.
They certainly have, and they've made the right decisions. They've moved the ball. It's almost like they've taken away that piece where they always have to look inside first before they do other things. Now they're just in a little bit more of a flow.
15 Tigers through and during the bonus.
UCLA is in the bonus, so there's going to be free throws here after the foul was called on Wolfenbarger.
2 shots.
Barker at the line. UCLA just 1 for 5 from the line in this game. Barker hits that one. And one of the reasons Corey Close was excited to bring in Barker this year, she felt that game against LSU last year exposed something that she knew about her team, that they needed a little bit more of a dog mentality at times. They needed a little bit more toughness. She felt like Barker is a player who could bring that to them, and she has this year for UCLA off the bench. The Big Ten 6th player of the year. Poa 3. Wow, that's some found money for LSU. Just her 5th 3 of the season.
UCLA in a zone, and Kim Mulkey had told her team, if there are times, if they double Morrow, if they go to a zone and you have a shot, you have to look to take it.
That's out of bounds off of Barker as UCLA turns it over.
See the scramble up top, and the double comes over, and Poa wide open, and that's by design. UCLA knows that she's not made a lot of threes this year at a high percentage. They're willing to leave her.
It reminds me of the national championship game against Iowa when LSU decided, okay, if you're going to give us these shots, we're going to take them. And they caught fire from 3, especially Carson. As Johnson can't hit the jumper. 2:35 to go in this first half. Elite 8 matchup. Masalo gives it up. Gardner's been good off the bench. Gardner's runner rims off. Out of bounds. It'll be LSU basketball. Let's check out how they're fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's.
Well, UCLA shooting 44% from 3, have really come alive here in this quarter. Both Jaquez and Gardner stepping into it confidently when they have the space. UCLA, a different team, not only when they make threes, but when they're doing it at an efficient clip.
They were 7 for 32 from 3 in the Sweet 16, 4 for 9 today. It's not just the efficiency that's significant here. it's taking fewer attempts as well. That was something Corey Close really wanted to focus on. As Wolfenbarger lays it in off a great delivery on the interior from Morrow.
We've seen LSU run that set for years, and it was for Angel Reese previously, here for Anissa Morrow. Just overload one side of the floor in a box, throw the ball over the top.
2-point game. Rice. Tiptoes baseline. Bounces out. Gardner. One more for Tamia Gardner. 3 for 4 from 3. Shoots it just under 39% and has been a huge factor off the bench. Dugalich knocks it away. Arnisalo to Jaquez to the rim. 8 points for Gabriela Jaquez. Johnson's jumper is good. Both offenses finding a little more rhythm in the latter stages of this second.
How about Tamia Gardner with 9 points here already, coming off a game where she was scoreless. Didn't even attempt a field goal in their Sweet 16 game.
Gardner back to work. Turning, taking. That one is off. Poe the rebound. About a 14-second difference game in shot clock as Jaquez knocks it out of the bounds. Gabriela Jaquez, the younger sister of Jaime Jaquez Jr., the second-year player for the Miami Heat. And Corey Close's joke with us in the past how they really do have similar Swiss Army knife type games. Jaquez had just 6 points in the Sweet 16, already 8 here today. Knocked away, Dugalich, what a save after the deflection. Ninth turnover for LSU. UCLA has turned it over just 5 times. After they turned it over 19 times last year against LSU in the Sweet 16. Here's Rice. Giving it up, Dugalich dumps it down. Barker gets fouled. And Barker is going back to the line.
Really got a good job by UCLA to get LSU into scramble mode. LSU ended up with 2 defenders going at one. Barker looked like she was going to be wide open. Help came, gets fouled.
Barker about to shoot her 7th and 8th free throws of the half. UCLA has done a magnificent job navigating the entire second quarter without their All-American Lauren Betts.
One interesting piece of that, Ryan, is you would assume that Betts will have good wind and legs in the second half.
Great point. Because as Holly talked about the other night in the Sweet 16, there were moments where Betts was winded in that game against Ole Miss. Barker hits the second. UCLA has left a little at the line, Barker specifically. 2 seconds left in the half. Dangerous dribble. Poa has it partially tipped, and that'll do it for the first half. UCLA, a 6-point lead, even with Lauren Betts being held down with foul trouble. Tamia Gardner is with Holly Rowe.
Well, Tamia, Lauren Betts has been on the bench, 2 fouls. How did you weather that storm? You outscored them 22-12 with her out.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think everybody steps up. We're a super deep team, and so we know when one person goes down, someone else has to step up, and we've done a phenomenal job of that today.
For you and your mindset, you didn't take a shot in the Sweet 16 game. Tonight you came out firing. How did you change that mindset and approach?
Yeah, you just got to stay ready and shoot a shoot.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Well, UCLA outscores LSU 22-12 in the second, despite Lauren Betts being on the bench the entire quarter. Time to get to the Shea Moisture halftime report. Elle Duncan, Andrea Carter, and Janae Agumake. Take it away, ladies. in Spokane, Washington, getting ready for the start of the second half of this Elite Eight matchup. UCLA a 6-point lead on LSU. Winner advances to the Final Four tomorrow night here. It'll be UConn and USC with a trip to the Final Four on the line as well. That'll be 9 Eastern on ESPN. As we welcome you courtside once again, Ryan Ruocco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. How about the way UCLA navigated that entire second quarter with their All-American Lauren Betts on the bench with 2 fouls. Really got hot from 3. Now it's time for Get More, brought to you by Geico.
That was certainly the difference in the second quarter for UCLA, was their efficiency. Look what they shot in the first half a year ago in this matchup. In the 2 of 17 from 3. Today in the first half, 5 of 10. It's going to give completely different spacing now here in the second half for Lauren Betts, but also provided the much needed offense that they had without her on the floor.
Let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Dixie Ultra Plates. So they outscored LSU 22-12 in that second, with Lauren Betts on the bench for the entirety of it. Tamia Gardner comes off the bench, did not attempt a shot in the Sweet 16, scores 9 points, it's 3 threes in that first half, and Anissa Morrow had 7 of her 9 in the first quarter. Lauren Betts, who's coming off back-to-back 30-point games. It's the first time Lauren Betts had a DNP in a quarter this season, and the 6 minutes are the fewest she's played in any half this season. For UCLA to still have a 6-point lead is just remarkable given that.
And if LSU had been able to go on a run and build any kind of a lead, Quarter Plus probably would have had to put Lauren Betts back in. Maybe she gets a 3rd foul, you never know. So a luxury for them to be able to have her on the bench for that amount of time with those 2 fouls.
Michaela Williams has 2 as well, so does Samaya Smith. Here's Morrow's 3, way off, and is out of bounds as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Checking in with Kim Mulkey at the half, she said, we're just missing shots that we normally make. Those are going to go in. She said what she's really frustrated with was their defense. She said, we have an automatic switch in our system when it's under 10 seconds on the shot clock for the offense. We're not doing it. They've got open 3s because of our mistakes on defense. That's something they're going to try to clean up here.
All right, Hal, thank you very much. You know, we talk about the impact of the foul trouble with UCLA and Betts. The Samaya Smith foul was huge as well. She was a +4 on the floor. LSU got outscored by 10 when she was on the bench, and she spent much of that second quarter on the bench with those fouls as Betts goes right back to work.
She got deep position, and even though the double team came, it's not going to matter when Lauren Betts gets that close to the rim.
Here's Williams. Nearly throws it away at 5 turnovers in that first half. Johnson, been mostly quiet on the offensive end in this game, gets fouled on the drive before the bucket.
Lauren Betts averages just under 3 blocks per game. Watch her here. Help, recover, stay in a stance, and still contest. You know how hard that is to do for a 6'7" player?
You know how tantalizing that is to WNBA GMs?
Very tantalizing.
Yes. Lauren Betts, only a junior.
Said she will return because she is eligible.
And is going to play with her younger sister, who's an outstanding recruit.
Yes, Sienna Betts.
Morrow lost the handle, able to keep it in bounds though, but then tried to force a pass inside to Smith and turned it over. 10th turnover for LSU as Rice has it stripped. It will stay with UCLA.
You heard Chene in the studio at the half talking about how UCLA needs to make sure they don't get stagnant on the offensive end now that Lauren Betts is back on the floor. Continue, move, cut, take 3s.
Like that. London Jones is on the board from deep. And a timeout taken by LSU. The UCLA lead is 11.
UCLA is hard to beat when they have their players making from the perimeter. 6 of 11 from 3, the UCLA contingent. Loving what they're seeing.
The NCAA Women's Championship continues tomorrow night with 2 more Elite 8 matchups on ESPN and the app. TCU squares off against Texas in the first game at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. And then following that game, fresh off 40 points, it's Paige Beckers and UConn facing USC and their talented freshmen who got it done last night without Juju Watkins. UConn, USC met last year in the Elite 8. It was a great game down to the wire. Paige Beckers with 28 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in the Connecticut win. This year, played another terrific game in December in Connecticut, and Juju Watkins led the way for USC with 25, 6, and 5.
Really eager to see how the freshmen perform for USC again tomorrow. They were so good yesterday.
Dane Wilson gets hit from behind and will go to the line to shoot 2. Foul called on London Jones. Now, Rebecca, you look at UCLA, they've only lost 2 games this season. Both of their losses came against USC. In both of those games, they really struggled from 3. They went 2 for 13 and then 5 for 20. They're 32-0 against everybody else. And then, of course, they end up coming back to beat USC in the Big Ten championship game.
And in that win, they were 8 for 15. It's certainly a narrative similar to the one we've seen from UConn this season.
Yes.
When they shoot really poorly from 3, they can lose against some tougher opponents.
And today, they started 1 of 4 from 3. They're 5 of 7 since. Here you go. This is what we're talking about when it comes to UCLA. 24-0 when they make 6 or more threes as Betts gets fouled. And Lauren Betts is going to go to the line to shoot 2. That foul will be on Morrow, her second. Betts, 8 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, shooting her second and third free throws of the day as we send things over to Holly Rowe.
You know, before this game, we were chatting with UCLA coach Corey Close, and she said she had a conversation with Lauren Betts to remind her today, you don't have to do this by yourself. We have a great team around you. So I would imagine it's giving her a lot of confidence after not playing in the second quarter to see that that's true. Her team can do it without her, but now she's going to be a big part. That's got to be a big psychological help for Lauren Betts moving forward. Yeah,
it's such a great point to bring up, Holly, because that has had to be the case because of the foul trouble, and her teammates have delivered. Here's flau'jae. Johnson finds Morrow. Nice move inside, and the finish from Anissa Morrow.
Beautiful hesitation. Little ball fake gets Lauren Betts, the shot blocker, leaning and then goes under her to finish.
Dump it into Betts. A soft dump out to Jaquez. And a steal from Jones. And Jones able to hit the jumper. A big swing there after LSU got the stop. They turn it over in the backcourt. Morrow couldn't finish that one. Good contest from Gudelich. Jaquez gets it up to Betts. UCLA's going to have to get it across center court. They do in time. Jaquez connects!
The look on Lauren Betts' face before and then after Jaquez took that 3. Priceless.
Jaquez is 3 for 4 from deep on the day. The UCLA lead is 14.
Sizes it up, puts it up, looking so pretty, celebrating it as well.
Well, UCLA a 14-point lead, and Gabriela Jaquez this 3.
I love this so much. Lauren Betts has her hand out like, don't shoot it, and then celebrates it. Look at her. That's a stop sign in any language, and Gabriela Jaquez steps into it anyway, and then, yeah, once it goes in, she's giving her all kinds of love.
Just terrific stuff there from Jaquez and Betts. Holly Rowe?
Well, Gabriela Jaquez, her coach calls her a rock, a winner. We never run a play for her. Higher the stakes, the bigger she shows up. And here's why. She has had this as a goal since she was a little girl. Look at her goal sheet that she says, get a scholarship, get good grades, go to UCLA, be nicer to my brother. That one I can't confirm, but she does listen to her parents. And then all of her basketball goals on the right-hand side. She's not averaging 20 points a game, but I'll tell you what, her impact on this team is just as important. She has had her eye on this moment all of her life.
That's her family there. You saw her dad, Jaime Sr., her mother, Angela.
I want to know, it says, listen to my parent. Which one is she listening to?
And we're going to have to ask Jaime Jr. whether or not she was, in fact, nicer to her brother. Betts with the rejection on Morrow.
Coming out of an LSU timeout where you assume Kim Mulkey drew up a play to go against a man-to-man defense. UCLA switches to zone. Lauren Betts patrolling the paint right there to smother the shot from Anissa Morrow.
3 blocks. Here's Johnson. She got it. flau'jae Johnson and LSU needed that. Does that unlock Johnson a little bit? It would have been 2 for 7 from the floor. But we know is capable of heating up. Great action here. Rice back to Betts. Betts turns and travels as she does.
The ball was really popping, though. That was a good offensive possession for UCLA. It didn't end the way they wanted it to, but they got great ball movement working inside and out.
Ryan Rucco, the Hall of Famers Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe with you. 5:49 to go in this third quarter. Elite Eight matchup, UCLA and LSU. UCLA seeking its first ever trip to the Final Four. LSU trying to go back for the second time in 3 years. As flau'jae Johnson turns it over. Arnasalo through the lane, draws the block, and will go to the line.
You saw UCLA in a zone once again on that possession. This is an LSU team that shoots 34% from 3, but it's just not a high rate in terms of how many they take per game. They make just under 5.
Foul on Day Wilson, her first. Arnasalo at the line. She's such an interesting player, Rebecca, because even though she's a freshman here with UCLA, she has played overseas for a while now, is from Finland, and we've heard her head coach, Corey Close, talk about how that experience has made her totally and completely composed in all difficult moments on the floor in college.
Yeah, certainly very different from just playing in high school.
Johnson hits another, up to 9 points. LSU really needs either Johnson or Michaela Williams to get going. Perhaps it's flau'jae, who won a championship as a freshman. Rice dumps it down. Betts looking out. Will go one-on-one, now draws the coverage. Rice's 3 is off. Jaquez bats it. Johnson has it. Johnson gets it back. Fakes to Day Wilson, throws it away. Jaquez on the steal. And then Morrow pokes it from behind, Don Beebe style, knocks it out.
There's really nowhere to go against the zone in terms of dribble penetration. LSU tried to screen the top of the zone. There was still nothing there for flau'jae Johnson.
13 turnovers for LSU in this game. UCLA a plus 11 in points off of turnovers. There's your difference on the scoreboard, and that's a huge swing from the way this matchup went a season ago in the Sweet 16. Betts couldn't finish it. Jaquez, another winning type play, screaming in for the rebound and then gets fouled.
Just a toughness, just a real toughness. And Corey Close talked about her in that regard a season ago and how well she played in that Sweet 16 loss to LSU.
Jones wide open, can't hit. Rebound taken in by Williams. Michaela Williams just 1 of 7 from the floor thus far. Bounces to Morrow. Morrow traveled, and another LSU turnover, their 14th.
It's a nice pick and roll. Probably would have been beneficial for Morrow to just take the pull up there.
And one of the things with Williams' struggles thus far, we saw that happen the other day in the Sweet 16. And then down the stretch in the fourth quarter against NC State, she was unbelievable, making play after play, capable of going on a run like that for LSU. Here's Barker. Good look to kick it out. Arnesalo can't hit the three. Smith able to flag down the rebound. Here's Gilbert working behind Smith. Morrow and Barker tussling inside. Kim Mulkey with a forlorn look on her face as she's watching the lack of development here. And Morrow loses it out of bounds. I thought it might have lasted Morrow's foot. It's going to stay with LSU. Let's see. Was this basketball last hit? Oh, no, I think it did hit UCLA and Barker's leg. Right call, stays with the Tigers. Johnson got fouled, nearly hit it. And flau'jae Johnson's going to shoot 3 free throws here. Well, a potential big swing possession as LSU's trying to climb back in. The shot clock was fading. Johnson just has to hoist it up and is able to get the whistle. Arnesalo with her second as she will check out. And flau'jae goes to the line to shoot 3.
3 shots.
flau'jae hits the first. They don't miss the NCAA Women's Final Four next weekend on ABC and ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. You're home for all 90 NCAA championships. 6 Eastern, be with us Friday for a Final Four special on ESPN. And then the game at 7. And then the championship comes your way Sunday on ABC. 2 Eastern for the special, 3 Eastern for the tip.
I can't wait.
And 5:30 Eastern for the wrap party. Johnson with 8 in the quarter, hits all 3 free throws, 7-point game. She has the last 8 LSU points. Here's Rice working behind the D. With Betts out of the game, Jones in a crowd, loses it. Here's flau'jae, and she gets fouled. UCLA did have one to give, and flau'jae in pain after hitting the hardwood, taking a moment. Third foul on Kiki Rice. Take another look here, Rebecca.
30 seconds out.
The way she falls on that left arm, maybe, or that left hand, the way it hit the floor, putting a lot of pressure on it.
Maybe.
flau'jae appears okay as UCLA spends a timeout. Rebecca, these are precarious minutes for UCLA right now. LSU on a little push. Johnson starting to find a rhythm. You have Lauren Betts on the bench. And an 8-1 run for LSU.
Yeah, you wonder if they might put Lauren Betts back in. She's had enough time to get a breather over there. Try to stem the tide a little bit here going in the last 3 minutes into the fourth quarter.
Also, as you said earlier, perhaps won't be as winded in this second half after the lack of minutes she played in the first half because of foul trouble, just 6 minutes, and there you go, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Betts back in.
And only, she's played this quarter without a foul. She still only has 2, so could still be relatively aggressive on the defensive end.
Now, flau'jae Johnson comes out of the game for this possession. Maybe just getting a little extra attention after that fall, but LSU is going to want her back on the floor ASAP. Morrow can't hit the jumper. Another good pick and roll with Williams up.
That was the one where she pulled up, and that's the look that'll be there.
Now flau'jae walks to the scorer's table. To Galich. Into Betts. Deep catch. Betts waits and finishes.
In the first quarter, the double team could come because UCLA had not yet gone on a tear from 3, and now the double can't come.
Betts with her 4th block. More inside, able to scrape it in on the reverse.
It's incredible. Her ability to score over much taller defenders.
13 points, 7 rebounds for Anissa Morrow. Dugalich on the drive, can't finish it. Betts. And we're going to have a held ball here. Possession arrow belongs to UCLA. Let's take a look at our star stories brought to you by Samsung Galaxy. Flau'jae Johnson with 12 points, 8 of them here in the 3rd. And Lauren Betts, 12 points, 4 blocks, despite playing just 6 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. Here's Rice. Dugalich spins out and knocked out of bounds. Last hits LSU. Betts a factor there on the offensive glass.
And also Anissa Morrow was defending Dugalich, and so she was kind of out on the perimeter and not able to be in the mix there to get the board.
Gardner, Betts, Rice, Jaquez, and London Jones, the 5 for UCLA. Poa, Smith, Michaela Williams, flau'jae, and Morrow for LSU. Morrow took a shot as Williams comes down with a rebound. Morrow still slow to get up. So is Smith. Here's Williams racing in and finishing as Morrow and Smith are still shaken up.
Betts kind of bumped Smith, and Smith is the one who hit Morrow.
A 9-2 LSU run. They have cut it to 5.
So Betts, as she's going through the lane, pushes Smith, whose head then goes
previous
back
play is under review.
and hits Anissa Morrow.
Man. Oof. And Morrow with a bloody nose in the aftermath of that.
This is an interesting one to review as well, because if anything, it would just be a common foul on Betts as she's pushing through, but then, because she never makes contact with Morrow, her contact is with Smith, which causes the collision with Morrow's face here. So Betts with a little push,
yeah,
right?
And Morrow being helped to her feet. I mean, obviously you see the blood from the nose. You know, because there was no foul called on the floor, this can only be looked
After
at.
review, there's no contact, illegal contact made by the offensive team or by UCLA. The contact was made by 5 and 24, 2 teammates. We have nothing further on the play.
Yeah, so you can't come back and call a common foul after that. The only thing you can come back with is an intentional or disqualifying, and what happened there was not going to rise to that, because what Betts did could have been called a common foul, but it would have had to happen in the moment, in real time on the floor.
Correct. I would argue that it probably should have been a common foul on Lauren Betts.
But that's not something they can adjudicate on that review. So, I mean, a critical story as Morrow comes out of the game, an All-American. Just as LSU is making a push here. Congratulations to South Carolina, going to a 5th straight Final Four. They await to see who is going to join them. It will be UCLA or LSU here today, and then tomorrow a doubleheader starting at 7 Eastern on ESPN. TCU, Texas, and then USC and UConn. You see Morrow going back to the LSU locker room late in this 3rd quarter. Just a critical piece for LSU. Betts, deep position. Betts unable to squeeze it in over Smith. Did a terrific job there defensively. Here comes Gilbert. Gilbert into the paint, kicks it out. UCLA had a 14-point lead in this quarter. Johnson on the drive, and Betts with the block, her 5th of the day. UCLA led 43-29 with 6:40 to go in this quarter. Betts patiently waits, gets held up, and that is going to be a jump. And the possession arrow belongs to LSU. Look at the job Samaya Smith is doing right now against Lauren Betts.
Especially on this possession where Betts has the ball for a second, and then the doubles come in. flau'jae Johnson is the one who got her hands on that basketball.
Seen flau'jae come a couple of times with timely help. Poa nearly loses it, and she goes down right in front of us. Gilbert has it. Shot clock turned off. Gilbert finding Smith, denied by Betts. A 6th block. Jones hugs it, and UCLA will keep it here as the quarter comes to a close. UCLA had a lead as large as 14. It stands at 5 after 3. Trying to head to their first ever Final Four. We'll hear from Corey Close when we come back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Start of the 4th quarter in this Elite 8 matchup. UCLA a 5-point lead. Time for today's coaches interview. Brought to you by Symetra.
Well, Coach, you had a big lead. LSU cutting into it right now. You've been talking to your group all day about handling the runs. What do you say in this huddle?
Well, we got to be poised on that, but we got to do it with our defense. We got to get better ball movement. We're stalling way too much. We got to go side to side, and we go top and in. We got to trust where those shots are going to fall, but we got to get good shots every time and not attack off the dribble until we've reversed the ball.
You had to survive a long time without Lauren Betts in that 2nd quarter. How can she go to work right now?
Yeah, we got to get her deep seals, and she's being a little tentative. She's just got to go really hard and early, get no move needed instead of having to take that dribble.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, Corey Close and UCLA a 5-point lead. Anissa Morrow back out there for LSU. Let's get an update from Holly Rowe.
Brian, this is incredible. Anissa Morrow has checked back in for this game. You see her getting ready to enter for LSU. I can confirm she has broken her nose. She is a tough young woman that can consistently talk about how tough she is, and right there, the contact with Samaya, that is unfortunate, but she is going to tough it out right now. You can see some swelling already starting, but she is not going to let her team down in this moment.
Wow.
I broke my nose 3 times in basketball games, was not able to return, and it's remarkable too. Obviously, she does not have a form-fitted mask for her face, so she's just going to come out here and play.
You know, we asked Kim Mulkey today, what's the thing you love most about Anissa Morrow? And Kim excitedly jumped right away and said, work ethic. The way she works in practice every single day is the exact same thing that you see with her digging on the glass in games. And she said, for that young woman, the lights are on every day. And I know, Rebecca, you've said for a while, you think she's going to be an even better pro than people have projected.
Yeah, certainly. And you know, in the pro game, you know, she's small. She's listed as 6'2", but she's probably just around 6 feet, 6'1". But her rebounding skill is transferable.
Gardner again. How about Tamia Gardner with her 4th 3 off the bench? UCLA starts this 4th quarter with a bang, trying to get to their first ever Final Four. Morrow spinning, forcing. Good contest from Betts. Rice, the flick ahead. Jaquez able to save it just momentarily. flau'jae goes behind the back. Rice hits the deck. Johnson vacated, but still finishes.
Wow, what a play by flau'jae Johnson in the open floor, the wraparound.
flau'jae having a big 2nd half, 10 of her 14. 6-point game, 1 minute into the 4th quarter. And Corey Close doesn't like what she's seeing on that end. She's going to take a timeout. Both LSU and UCLA now, each with just 2 timeouts remaining for the rest of this contest.
flau'jae Johnson with the steal, full head of steam, wrap behind the back, puts Kiki Rice on skates, comes down, delivers, gets it back, and then finishes her own pretty play.
Well, Lauren Betts, this last time out, sharing her leadership with her team, something Corey Close has talked to us about throughout the season, how much growth Lauren Betts has had in that department. UCLA seeking its first ever Final Four, LSU seeking its second in the last 3 years, as we check in with Holly.
Well, Lauren Betts told me earlier this season that her vocal ability and leadership ability has been something she's really worked on. Last year, she had to step away from the team. She was hospitalized, dealing with challenging mental health concerns, and she realized during that time her teammates love her. They have her back, and them loving her, supporting her through the toughest time of her life, let her know that she can speak up, she can talk when she wants to, and we are seeing the emergence of this young woman using her voice in a crucial moment with her teammates because they trust and love her.
Thank you, Hal. Certainly amazing for Betts as Betts gets blocked and still finishes plus the foul, beating the shot clock and the contact.
And that is why you continue to persist. She gets her shot blocked. The shot clock has almost expired. Flau'jae with another block, just gets it, goes right back up with it.
And then the celebratory scream from Lauren Betts. Third foul on Morrow.
The previous play is under review to determine whether or not the ball was released prior to the shot clock.
So they'll make sure. First look, it seemed like it was released, but they will ensure that it was. You know, one thing just on UCLA seeking its first ever Final Four, they did go to the semifinals of the AIAW twice, including
the call was confirmed on the floor,
winning a championship in 1978. That was before this NCAA structure and the Final Four as it is. But since we have had the Final Four, UCLA has not been.
Those great UCLA teams headed by Ann Myers-Drysdale.
One of our favorites who we love so much. So the bucket good for Betts, a chance for three. Misses the free throw, rebound, taken in by Smith. Samaya Smith just 4 points in this game after back-to-back 20-point games, and London Jones picks up the personal here. The one thing to keep in mind, UCLA with the 8-point lead in this fourth quarter, they had a fourth quarter lead a year ago against LSU, were unable to hold it, and LSU ended up finishing the game on a big run in the final 2 minutes, winning the game by 9, advancing to the Elite Eight. Ended that game on a 14-2 run. Flau'jae had 24 points in it. Williams spinning and hitting. Look out. Michaela Williams, known to get hot in fourth quarters. Six-point game. Betts draws two, kicks out. Jones in and out. Rebound out of bounds, and it last hit Jaquez, or did it? Perhaps it last hit Williams. It's going to be UCLA ball.
You saw the gamble from Flau'jae Johnson, leaving Jones in the corner to come in and double. She got a great look, and if LSU continues to double from three-point shooters, the three-point line becomes even more important for UCLA.
Saw Kim Mulkey come shimmering to the scores table to contest the call, but UCLA ball, and now UCLA will use a timeout, and they will have just one remaining as they avoid the 5-second violation.
I don't know, Ryan, with this much time left in a close game to only have one timeout left.
Let's flash back to the Sweet 16 a year ago in Albany. UCLA, LSU, Lauren Betts, when her teammates found her in that game, was unstoppable. But LSU got a big performance from Anissa Morrow, as well as a huge one from Angel Reese and Flau'jae Johnson. That signature swim move from Flau'jae as LSU finished the game on a 14-2 run to beat UCLA and head to the Elite Eight, where they faced Iowa in a rematch, a game, of course, Caitlin Clark and Iowa went on to win. UCLA a 6-point lead here with 8:08 to go in the fourth. Inbound to Gardner. He has 4 threes off the bench in this game. Rice, given space, directing Betts on the screen. 7 to shoot. Rice didn't like what she saw there. Gardner, you bet! It's Tamia Gardner's afternoon. Morrow, in and out. Jaquez, another rebound. 7 rebounds for Jaquez. 9 threes for UCLA. 5 of them Gardner's. Dumps it in. Betts kicks it out. And Rice traveled as UCLA turns it over.
Lauren Betts doing a great job demanding attention inside. The ball goes to Jaquez in the corner. Morrow there just a second late. How about Gardner? No field goal attempts in the last game. 0 field goal attempts.
And Rebecca, there's been no hesitation on her attempts in this game. And that's going the other way. An offensive foul called on last year Poa.
It's one thing to have an offensive foul out on the perimeter but when it's part of your misdirection action. It wasn't even an on-ball screen. The action that was actually happening was on the right side of the floor.
And for LSU, they really used more set-up point guards with last year Poa more defensive-minded. Cheyenne Day-Wilson. Williams and Johnson capable of those responsibilities as Betts again finishes, and it's Gardner who found her. An 11-point lead for UCLA, meeting the moment so far in this 4th. Williams got another. And now LSU will use a timeout, and they will have just 1 remaining. With 6:34 to go in the 4th.
Post players who said it, you do your work early, and when Lauren Betts gets that kind of position, it doesn't matter how many players come over to help. She does it. Well, when you're 6'7", you could do the too small pretty much anytime you score over a defender. And then Michaela Williams is the player for LSU, especially in this mid-range, who can come off a ball screen and just get right into her mid-range. Expect a heavy dose of that from LSU down the stretch.
Partner, we see Kim Mulkey do this often. It's always, I think, an interesting use of a timeout right after a made bucket. She will use it to try and set her team up in some way, even though she may not have too many left in the chamber. I mean, just 1 timeout remaining now for LSU in what they obviously hope is going to be a close game down the stretch.
Well, so now they hope that they can get a stop. It was risky for Kiki Rice to call the timeout when she couldn't inbound it. And then what happens? They get a massive 3 in the corner.
Another Elite 8 game here tomorrow night between USC and UConn. That'll be at 9 Eastern, at 7 Eastern in Birmingham. You'll have TCU and Texas. Both games on ESPN. Here's Dugalich looking in, kicking out. Betts gets a touch. Betts has it slapped to the floor and taken by Samaya Smith.
That time Smith forced Betts out. She caught the ball outside of the lane.
Gilbert spinning, forcing, can't hit. Not a good decision there from Kaylin Gilbert, but LSU will have a second chance.
Samaya Smith defensively in the post. You've got to push the bigger player out of the paint. Watch her, boom, boom, that's legal. She gets her out of the paint just enough where she can get the hands on the basketball.
6:04 to go. 9-point UCLA lead. Big possession here for LSU. Williams sending Gilbert away. Gilbert, pull-up jumper is off again. Gilbert gets it back, puts it up again and misses. And Kim Mulkey is beside herself. I understand why. That is just not the player you want shooting 3 times on a single possession in this moment if you're LSU.
Correct.
That steep catch, and again Smith able to knock it away. Here's Johnson weaving through traffic. Flau'jae to the cup.
flau'jae Johnson, Anissa Morrow, Michaela Williams. Those are the three that should take the rest of the field goal attempts for LSU, unless it's on an offensive board or a breakaway layup.
No question. Johnson comes up with a steal. flau'jae, the hesitation, and the foul on Kiki Rice. And free throws for flau'jae Johnson as Rice picks up her fourth.
Get a good look at flau'jae Johnson's eyes, assessing the situation. Who's coming? Where should I go? And then when she realizes she's going to take it to the bucket, the look of determination.
flau'jae has come alive in this second half. Meanwhile, UCLA has 4 turnovers over the last 3 minutes. As Johnson hits the free throw. And it's gut check time again for UCLA. You see flau'jae's mom, Dia Brooks, in the building, catching the moment.
Is that a flau'jae earring?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was, yeah.
It is. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. Fantastic. flau'jae is a massive star. Always was to mom, though.
That's right.
6-0 run for LSU. Betts. Again, Smith trying to time it. Betts couldn't finish it. Loose ball. LSU has it. An opportunity to cut a little closer. With 4:30 to go in the fourth. UCLA leading by 5. Johnson back to work in the corner. Williams into the mid-range. Can't hit. Good contest by Betts. Rebound Jones and a foul on LSU.
Michaela Williams came off that on-ball screen, and you knew she was looking for her mid-range. Between her and the mid-range and the rim was Lauren Betts at 6'7", and I think that long extension is one of the reasons the shot did not go in.
5-point lead. Jones, no. Betts the rebound, kicks it out. Gardner redirects with Arnesalo in the game now for UCLA. Has it poked from behind, stays with Jones. 7 to shoot. London Jones working behind Betts. Has it knocked away by Williams. Loose, shot clock fading, and there's a turnover again for UCLA. And just over the last few minutes, they've been very disjointed on the offensive end as Kiki Rice will check back in now with her 4 fouls.
Brilliant defensive timeout by Kim Mulkey.
Now we know why she took it.
That's right.
LSU with the ball, down 5. 3:40 to go in the fourth. 6 fourth-quarter turnovers for UCLA, just 1 for LSU. That's the opposite story of the rest of the game. Johnson hooks it in. It is a 1-possession game. An 8-0 LSU run, and UCLA has to be fearing deja vu. Rice into the lane, lost it out of bounds. It'll stay with UCLA with 6 on the shot clock.
Gilbert did a really nice job fighting over the screen, staying between Rice and the basket just here, and then swipes down with her hand without a foul called. Really nice defensive possession that time by Gilbert.
6 on the shot clock. Rice gets it into Jaquez. Betts, center of the lane, gets blocked but fouled. And Lauren Betts is going to shoot 2 as the foul is called on Smith.
Ooh, that looked clean up top, Ryan Rucco. I'm sure at some point we're going to get a replay right here. Let's see.
Got it on the arm.
You think so?
Yes.
Like right on the elbow area?
Watch again here.
Oh, yep, she did.
Yep.
She did.
And Kim Mulkey thought it was clean initially as well. That's at the line. Sinks the first. Lauren Betts, just 61.5% free throw shooter. UCLA has struggled from the line today, 8 for 15 as Betts misses the second. Smith claws the rebound. UCLA with a 4-point lead, 2:50 to go. Johnson. flau'jae through the lane, shovels, Morrow, can't flip it in. It was Betts again with her 7th rejection. Ball loose, kicked out of bounds. And it looked like it might have last hit UCLA, initially called LSU ball. Now the officials will confirm.
Kim Mulkey wants a review, but you can't go until it's 2 minutes left on the clock.
Has to be 2 minutes and under. Let's see who it last hits here.
Oh, that's off for Rice's
Kiki
foot.
Rice.
But yes, you cannot review this until it's 2 minutes.
There's nothing that LSU can do about this. That is clearly off the left foot of Kiki Rice. And instead, it is going to be UCLA basketball. So the Bruins catch a massive break there. Meanwhile, UCLA without a field goal the last 4.5 minutes. Here's Betts, another touch, kick out. Gardner, not that time. Hawk has a hand on it, and it last hits Williams and will stay with UCLA.
Hawk is being just disruptive enough there to save the possession.
She's been so good on the glass today. Here's Rice. Guarded by Gilbert. Rice kicks it out. 9 to shoot. Hawkes gets around Williams, but fouled. And LSU is over the limit here. So Hawkes is going to go to the line to shoot 2 as Michaela Williams got caught a little flat-footed there and just decided to tap Hawkes. But you're putting her at the line.
Yeah, Hawkes is a terrific free throw shooter, 80% on the season, but UCLA has been poor from the free throw line today, only 8 of 16.
A lot of those attempts were Barker, who was 4 for 8. Hawkes hits the first. What a complete game it's been from Gabriela Hawkes. 12 points, 7 rebounds, and a lot of disruption. Hawkes got them both. Lead is 6. Hawkes also without a turnover in this game. Under 2 minutes to go. Great defense by Rice, denying flau'jae Johnson. Gilbert will pull, misses again. Rebound UCLA. 1:45 to go. And again, the shot clock wasn't dwindling enough to warrant that attempt from Gilbert, who's now 0 for 7. Dump it in, Betts, kick it out. That 3 is good! Gabriela Hawkes may have just punched UCLA's ticket to the Final Four. Johnson dumps it in, and Morrow lays it home as LSU will spend its final timeout.
Gabriela Hawkes today has been just spectacular. Not only with the efficiency with which she's played, 4 of 5 from 3, but the big plays she's made in these big moments. Showing incredible toughness all game long for UCLA.
Dad needs a drink. It's been a long 4th quarter. Hawkes a new career high. 4 made 3s. And Rebecca, how about UCLA's ability here to navigate this moment? LSU all of a sudden had all the momentum. They had made it a single possession game. UCLA was turning it over left and right, and they have found a way to remain poised over these last few trips down the floor.
Ryan, you and I called UCLA's opening game in Paris this year. When we talked to Corey Close before that game, She talked about how her team needed to do better managing chaos, and she has put her players in chaotic situations all season long, building for this moment. And absolutely, as LSU made their run, they just continued to have an answer, even after that long drought where they were unable to score.
Winner of this game goes to the Final Four. USC will play UConn here in Spokane tomorrow night, 9 Eastern on ESPN. So if you're LSU, obviously you're going to want to pressure UCLA defensively, and UCLA has turned it over quite a bit in this fourth quarter.
LSU also has the possession arrow, so that they can be disruptive defensively. Even if they don't get a steal, they get a tie up, they get the basketball.
LSU now out of timeouts. UCLA with just one remaining. Jaquez gets it in to Rice. Rice bounces ahead. Jones across the timeline. Back to Rice. Letting clock wind. Guarded by Johnson. Gets over the screen. Rice through the lane, gets blocked. And it stays here with 13 on the shot clock.
Maya Smith coming over. She's just had terrific hands, both on steals and on blocks here today defensively.
Betts out beyond the arc. 10 on the shot clock now, and Gilbert fouls Rice. And that is going to put Rice at the line. Kim Mulkey was once again very upset there at the foul.
Well, of course, you've just played 20 of the 30 seconds of the shot clock possession defensively. You're not trying to foul there.
2 shots.
And so Kiki Rice, who's an outstanding free throw shooter, goes to the line. Hits that one. Rice has now made 37 straight free throws in the NCAA tournament. You couldn't have fouled a worse player there if you're Kaylin Gilbert, as Rice hits both. Under a minute to go, 9-point UCLA lead. Williams gets fouled by Jaquez, and then Williams has something to say to Jaquez afterwards.
I like Jaquez's reaction. She just kept walking.
UCLA has fouls to give. LSU had closed this to 56-53 with 3:24 to go after they've been down 14 in the third. But it's an 8-2 run for UCLA since. Johnson, they need it. They've got it. 6-point game. Flau'jae up to 23, 19 of them in the second half. As Morrow fouls Kiki Rice. And again, I understand you're going to have to foul at this point, but you have enough of a cushion that you probably could try and get the ball out of Rice's hands.
Check this out. Flau'jae Johnson. Lauren Betts first switches out. Kiki Rice is right there. That's a great contest. Tough shot for Flau'jae Johnson.
Rebecca, when you look at the way the rest of UCLA has shot from the line in this game, his dad anxiously watches Rice hit yet another free throw. It feels like it'd be worth it for LSU to try and get it out of her hands there.
But also, you can foul before the ball is inbounded. It's not like the pros where there's an extra penalty for that.
Right, as long as you're fouling someone involved in the play.
Right.
Rice hits them both. 40 straight made free throws for Kiki Rice. Here's Williams turning the corner, gets fouled by Dugalich. And Dugalich, fortunate that this isn't an and one opportunity for Williams.
First personal. Team 4. Williams to the line.
Williams, a very good free throw shooter. Talented sophomore, first team All-SEC this season in that stacked conference. Williams got them both. 6-point game, 28.8 to go in the fourth. Dugalich in the backcourt, and Morrow will foul her, and that will be the 5th and final foul for Anissa Morrow.
Fouls on 24.
And perhaps the final seconds of her collegiate career, as she will receive a standing ovation from the LSU fans behind their bench. Certainly not the end of basketball for Morrow, but perhaps the end of her time in college.
An incredible, incredible college career for Anissa Morrow.
Third all-time in Division I history in rebounds. Started her career at DePaul, comes to LSU, and excels in the SEC as well. 8-point UCLA lead. They are on the brink here. Richard flips it out. Williams hoists it up. Off the mark. Johnson the rebound. Banks it in. flau'jae doing everything she can. As Jaquez is then fouled with 11.1 to go. LSU also out of timeouts.
Fouls on the Tigers, 16, Gilbert. Fourth personal.
The math and the clock certainly making this a near impossibility at this point for LSU, as UCLA is on the brink of revenge after their Sweet 16 loss a season ago to the Tigers. Jaquez hits the first. What a performance from her today. 18 points for Jaquez. 10 seconds remaining. flau'jae puts it up and in from 3. 5-point game as Rice is fouled with 3.9 remaining. flau'jae Johnson with 24 second-half points. Giving everything she can, but it is not going to be enough. And UCLA, who has been tested multiple times in this game, including when LSU cut it to 3 with 3:24 to go, is now 3.9 seconds away from their first ever Final Four. Corey Close with a smile starting to creep across the face. That will do it for the first time in program history. UCLA is headed to the Final Four.
With today's victory, the UCLA Bruins advance to the Final Four.
The question with UCLA coming into this season was their toughness, because certainly the talent is there. And what did we see? Without question today was a tough-minded, physically tough UCLA team. Not only their ability to make big shots when they needed to, but to withstand that run in the fourth quarter. This has been a season in the making for this UCLA team.
Lauren Betts spent much of that first half on the bench in foul trouble. Certainly made herself felt in the second half, finishes with 17 points, 7 rebounds. A huge performance from Gabriela Jaquez with 18 and 8. Taking a look at the Capital One rewarding performance.
UCLA is tough to beat when their shooters are being efficient, making from the perimeter. Tamia Gardner hit some big ones. Gabriela Jaquez as well. They surround their big inside with shooters, and today they made 10 threes.
And UCLA celebrates its first trip to the Final Four. Gardner with 15 off the bench on those 5 threes. Jaquez and Betts, terrific, and both of them are with Holly Rowe, and so is the entire team.
They wanted everybody in this, and I don't disagree. This was a team win. Lauren, you're sitting on the bench with the foul trouble, but you came out and made a statement in the second half. How did you fight through that adversity?
I mean, I think it's the confidence that my teammates have in me and my coaches. They believe in me no matter what. Hey, shout out to my teammates for holding it down while I was out.
Yes!
They did a really good job. I'm so proud of them. This is a team effort. This is not about any individual. We did this together. This was UCLA basketball. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Gabriela, you had to be so tough in there today. What was this like for you, taking your team to the Final Four for the first time in the NCAA era?
Just super proud of my whole team, our coaching staff. We've just worked so hard all season, beginning in the spring and summer, and I'm just so proud of everyone. The coaches just really gave us a good scout to follow, and we were so confident in ourselves, and we did it.
I know your brother's been to a Final Four. Now you get your turn. How crazy is that this family is going to make this legacy at UCLA?
Yeah, I was at my brother's game, so just seeing him succeed on this college level made me want to do the same even more. So just super proud of my team, and I'm really excited.
All right, what will it take not just to get to the Final Four, but to win at the Final Four?
It's going to take a lot of team effort, a lot of grit, but we're going to prepare. We're going to be ready. I have so much confidence in this team. We're going to be ready. We got this. Let's go.
Sure. All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Well, UCLA is headed to its first ever Final Four. 72-65 the final as they avenge their loss to LSU in the Sweet 16 a year ago. So South Carolina headed to a 5th straight Final Four. UCLA headed to a first. Tomorrow we find out who joins them. And we'll say goodbye for now from Spokane. For our producer, Kerry Callahan, our director, Jimmy Platt, the Hall of Famers, Rebecca Lobo, and Ollie Rowe. I'm Ryan Rucco. Join us again tomorrow starting at 7 Eastern with TCU Texas, followed by UConn USC. Now back to the studio, El, Drea, and Chene.